Hi, welcome or welcome back. My name is Kendi. This is Kendi Creates, mostly knitting podcast vlog situation where I share what I'm working on, what I'm excited to work on, and just some random other creative goals that I have and projects that I'm working on. So I have decided that I'm going to Nash Yarn Fest in March. So I just decided this last week. I've been seeing it all over social media feeds and it just looks like a really lovely time. I have a goal this year of going to either a yarn festival, fiber festival, or a crawl. And this one popped up on my radar and I'm going for it. So it is in Nashville. I live in Tulsa. This one is one that is drivable and I'm super pumped. I have my Airbnb booked. I have my dates blocked off, and now it's a matter of picking the project that I want to wear. So I'm in this interesting spot in life where I have done like DIY color season analysis. I have some friends we talk about all the time. They have done theirs and we've kind of played around with DIYing a few others. And we've come to the conclusion that I am a warm spring. And I typically gravitate towards cooler tones and neutrals. So my wardrobe is beige, creams, and all cool tones. So I am also on a mission to align my knits with my color season and infuse a lot more color and vibrant tones into my wardrobe. I went through what I have and of course decided I have to cast on a brand new project for this event. So it's about 4 weeks away. I need to look at a calendar, but I've got about 4 weeks and I've had my eye on the Sunshine tee. I think the first name of the designer is Andrea. I'm not sure how they pronounce it. I'll pull up the Ravelry link, but I've had my eye on that project. I'm going to hit up a new to me local yarn store. It's actually in a town called Claremore, which is a suburb of Tulsa. So I'm gonna pop in there today. I looked at their online inventory and found an option that I think will be perfect, even better than this. It's a cotton, I think it's a primary cotton blend with a little bit of wool and a little bit of linen, but looks like it would be the perfect kind of fiber weight for the Sunshine tee. So I'm gonna go to this new yarn shop, take you with me, and then my plan for this whole episode is just the journey of making the Sunshine tee for Nash Yarn Fest, happening in 4 weeks, and just kind of document the progress all along the way. So come along with me. No luck at this store. So they had the yarn that I originally found online, but in person, the color was really soft and muted. All of the colors where the whole line was. And so it looked like kind of more of a punchy, warm, vibrant tones, but these were more muted, earthy tones. So more of like an autumn palette than a spring palette if you're into the color seasons at all. So beautiful yarn. I'm really bummed that it wasn't the right one and they didn't quite have just what I was looking for, but it's a really, really cute shop. I took one video. The only reason I took one video is because there were some kiddos in the space and I did not want to film strangers' kiddos. So I took one little quick video of the inside of this place. It looks really cool. It seems like a very welcoming vibe. There is a playroom for kiddos. There are plenty of comfy places to sit around. There is a big sticker on the front door, front and center, that says Ally. And I've seen on their social media posts too that they are very intentional about creating inclusive and welcoming spaces for all folks. So that was a really cool thing to see as well. So there's one other store I'm going to pop back into Tulsa to see if I can find something for in person. We'll see how that goes. Okay, back home. So store number 2 had a couple potential options. One, I love the color. However, it was again, another light fingering. So that felt like it wouldn't quite give me the gauge I was looking for. Another one was an indie dyer option. It was this gorgeous lime Kelly green. So it was really saturated and also still like really vibrant and punchy at the same time. It was a beautiful color. But once I looked at the skein, it had some variegation in it. And I wasn't looking for variegation on this particular project. So I ended up not getting anything at that store. Oh, I didn't get any yarn, but I did get some stitch markers. I have been needing some smaller, like interchangeable guys. So I picked those up, but no yarn at that store. So I decided just to go ahead and go with the yarn that the pattern calls for. It calls for knitting for olive, either merino or cotton merino. I looked at the cotton merino options through Wool & Co. and they had, I think it's called lime yellow is the colorway. Checked it out on Ravelry, looked at several different projects to see if I could get a sense of what the color looked like in a variety of different lights and on a variety of different bodies and colors, you know, those color tones. And I think I really like this color a lot. That's what, it's so tricky ordering things online because you never know what the colors are actually going to look like. So thanks Ravelry for that option to be able to go and look and see. I haven't used Knitting for Olive before, but I'm really, really excited to. I'm seeing it all the time, but just none of the stores near me carry it in person, so I haven't gotten to like get my hands on it just yet. So I ordered that through Wool & Co. The website said it ships like within 3 days, I think. So I'm hoping that it ships quickly, it travels and arrives very quickly, so I have as much time as possible to knit this project. But thankfully it is, I'm planning on doing a somewhat cropped length. It is, or a length. It is a like short sleeve tee with not a ton of positive ease. I'm not gonna do a really big oversized look, but I am gonna have probably about 6 inches of positive ease, depending on what my gauge looks like, which feels about right for where I'm at. So it's not, you know, a big oversized, long sleeved, full length situation. It is a smaller project. So I'm hoping that I have very fast fingers and there is very fast shipping and I have as much time as possible to work on this project. But I think it's going to be perfect new color addition for my wardrobe and will be something that I wear a ton. Oh, speaking of like color seasons, the second shop that I went to, there were several ladies in store, and while I was shopping around, I overheard them talking about their colors. And one lady had said she had had her colors done decades ago and seemed kind of surprised that I knew what she was talking about. And so we were having this conversation about how color seasons are super huge all over TikTok, all over social media, having your colors done, figuring out what your season is. And we had this really lovely conversation about how fun it was, but then also how it made, you know, picking yarns, picking garments, like styling your wardrobe so much easier because you ultimately, like, everything is a capsule wardrobe at that point, but you aren't limited to blacks, grays, beige, navy, you know, these neutrals, right? So everything just kind of works together. So it makes shopping so much easier because you know very quickly what works for you and what doesn't work for you, and you can just keep on cruising if it's outside of your season. And then what you do buy all goes together really beautifully. So it was fun to visit with those ladies about color seasons and share what we are, and it was really cool. One gal was in autumn, and she had this beautiful cardigan that she said she picked up in Peru of all of these rich autumn jewel tones, these warm but jewel tones that was just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So that was a fun part of visiting that shop too. So shout out Anne here at Get Stitchin' on a Thursday afternoon. But yeah, so don't have the yarn in hand for the project. I have purchased it though, and I will be patiently waiting for the shipping confirmation to arrive. So I'll let you know when it does. I'm ready for it to be here already. Okay, so forget everything I said. Everything has changed. Not entirely, but after I filmed yesterday and was talking about ordering the Knitting for Olive cotton merino for the sunshine tee, I got a package in the mail, and I checked tracking on this package earlier in the day, and it still said it was in customs. So I thought, who knows when I'm gonna get this package. And it is a package from Knitting for Olive, from an earlier order that I made in the month. I don't even remember when I made the order, but I was not expecting this anytime soon. So we're switching gears because I have this yarn in hand, and it is so freaking gorgeous, and I cannot stop thinking about this sweater. It's been on my wish list for months and months and months. And then once I saw Mckenzie's version, Mckenzie from M to the Third, once I saw their version that they made last year, that was it. That was it. So immediately ordered the yarn, and it came. So we're going to switch gears to the EUN sweater. And yes, it is oversized. It is a full long sweater, full long sleeves, but it's knit up in worsted weight. So it's knit up in heavy merino from Knitting for Olive. So, and it's on, what are the needles that it's on? I think we're using 5mm size 8s. Let's look. Yeah, so it's knit up on size 8 needles. So I think it's gonna go really, really fast, despite being a big oversized long sleeve, full length sweater. So I swatched last night, and here we go for my swatch. This is the color Blood Orange, which is just a very beautiful red orange. It definitely leans more orange, and I am in love with it. So my gauge is a little bit different than the pattern. Yeah, the pattern calls for 16 stitches, is 10 centimeters, and I'm coming in at 18. And I like this fabric. So I probably could go up a needle, but I like the shape and the drape of the fabric, and I don't want it to get too open, right? So we are casting on. Here is my package of all of my skeins. So I'm just gonna have multiple things going at once, I guess. I think for the longest time I was a one project knitter. And partly because I just had such a hard time actually seeing my projects to completion. There's something that happens when I come close to finishing a project where I'm just like, I feel kind of done with it and have a hard time actually completing it. And I trust that I'm not the only one that feels that way or experiences that. So I've kind of been disciplined about staying with just one project for a really long time. And it wasn't until this last year when I had some socks going where I have those right here too. Now, I obviously wasn't working on these last year, but I was knitting socks for friends and knitting these teeny tiny things, and I had to watch what I was doing a little bit more. And it wasn't until then where I was like, okay, I'm casting on something with bigger yarn, with bigger needles, because my hands need a break, my brain and my like attention needs a break. I need something that I can just move with my hands while I have my gaze up here, either, you know, in a conversation with friends or watching a movie or, you know, sitting in a park and just being in nature. But I needed to be less like dialed in right here and more open and receptive. So I started casting on multiple projects, and I think it actually helps me finish. I've got a pup leaning on my stand. I think it actually helped me finish projects because I wasn't ever just like fully saturated in one thing, and that variety allowed me to kind of, once I was feeling a little bit, whether it was bored or like done with one thing, I can switch to another and just go back and forth. So it worked out really well for me. So all that to say, I'm gonna have some multiple projects going. I've got these socks at the moment. I've got a baby blanket that's a gift that I actually need to focus more on, and now I'll have the EUN sweater, and then we'll see how long it takes for my other order of knitting for Olive cotton merino for the sunshine sweater. We'll see how long it takes for that to come in, and if I can cast that on, and we'll see where we get. Hopefully I finish one of them, but I will be there for 2 nights, and I think having a big, cozy, heavier knit alongside a more spring lightweight knit will be a good option to have, but we'll just see if I can knit that fast. So I'm gonna cast on and we'll see how far we get. What I just showed you is the progress I made yesterday, from casting on until I had to leave for a concert. So I was able to get through almost all of these short rows shaping, and I'm impressed with the progress so far. I've knit a little bit more this morning, and now I'm just to the straight raglan increases. I finished the first skein of yarn, and I'm on to my second, and so far I made really great progress. I'm loving this particular project because, as you can see, the weather is really dreary and rainy and pretty chilly. It's like 55 degrees, which is, I mean, kind of chilly, considering it's wet. But I decided to take a break from knitting in order to take Miss Mila on a walk, and I thought we'd sit at the park and I could get some knitting done and we could just chill outside. But what was like sporadic mist has turned into like full-blown drizzle, and it's quite a bit more wet than I was expecting. So probably we'll go home and sit on my front porch and maybe start a pinion fire. That sounds like the perfect cozy thing to do, and we'll see how far we get today. Oh, I did get the shipping confirmation for the yarn that I ordered for the sunshine tee. So the cotton merino knitting for Olive. I did get that shipping confirmation. It's on the way. I'm excited for it to get here too. But for now, I'm really enjoying the EUN sweater. The punchy orange is like so fun and helping, you know, kind of brighten my mood and mental health. Like, if you know, you know, the seasonal dreary blahs that can come on. So that's been a nice like, I can't help but just be a little bit tickled with that bright orange color. So here we are, morning of day 3. I just finished all of the raglan increases and I decided to recheck my math. So for the last probably 5 minutes, I've been like frantically recalculating everything and trying to remember, even though I take notes. There's a part of me that's like, I can't trust the math that I already did. I have to recheck it over and over. So I am debating on actually grading to the next size down. Right now I'm knitting this size 5, and from what I can tell on the pattern, it's completely the same as size 4 up to this point. Yeah, even cast on stitches, like the stitch counts are the same, but what's different is the pattern now differentiates between size 4 and 5, that 5 does some additional increases on the body alone. And when I do the calculations, I think that will put me with a little bit more ease than what I would like through the body. But I like a lot of ease through the shoulders. So I think that will work well. So I'm gonna go ahead and move forward with size 4 on the pattern. I'm switching from 5 to 4 through the body, which I don't think will make any difference other than I'm omitting those additional body increases, which is like for 12 stitches there, and I think the underarm stitches, there's like the difference between 4 or 6, so minuscule changes I think between the two. At least that's what I'm hoping for. But now I'm excited because I get to split the sleeves and work in straight stockinette for just a little bit. So it's always a good feeling when you get to that part where you've done all of the raglan or finished the yoke and can start working on the body. It's like, feels so nice. So that's the plan. That's the plan. I'm hoping to, let's see, I want to finish this skein today, which is skein number 3, and then maybe skein 4. I've got a full day of just kind of like nothing planned, so I can just be cozy. Oh, and it snowed last night. It snowed. So it's like cold, cozy. So I'm just gonna hammer down. Okay, I'm second guessing my math as I'm knitting the body. And I only have the body stitches on my needles right now, and I'm a little bit nervous that omitting the body increases and just going with size 4 was a bad idea. So I'm gonna try it on and see. I've got the sleeves on hold and just like maybe this much of the body knit. So we'll try it on and see if, like, first impressions, if it feels a little too snug or if it's feeling good. Okay, I think we're good. So that gives me room there. Pull. I think we're good. I'm happy with how it's fitting. I think something that has made a difference is I'm continuing this rib detail all the way down the body until it splits. So I'm continuing that rib detail. It's just too beautiful, like how it connects up here in the neck and then comes down. So I'm just gonna continue that down, which I think is creating a little bit of, it's like reducing the circumference just a little bit. That made me kind of a little nervous, but I think we are good. That is plenty of ease. I'm so excited to see how this flows down and then naturally goes into the rib. I think it's going to be a beautiful detail. Good morning. It's the start of day 4 of knitting my Nash Yarn Fest project, which this might be really cocky, but I kind of want to put an S on the end of that and make it plural, because the yarn that I ordered for my original project, the Sunshine Tee, the yarn I ordered shipped, and as of this morning, it is in Tulsa. So it's expected to be delivered tomorrow. So A, the yarn came in super duper fast, which is awesome. And B, I'm tempted to make it plural because I've made a ton of progress on the EUN sweater and it's coming along so quickly. Now granted, I've had a ton of knitting time this weekend. Like I've watched a couple movies, I've caught up on a ton of YouTube. A friend came over yesterday and we knit and chatted. So I've had a ton of knitting time, but still it's coming together very quickly. So my goal yesterday was to finish this skein of yarn, which is the 4th skein. These are 50 gram skeins, so they're smaller than, hence it's easier to move through them quickly. But my goal was to finish this skein. I did not, and here's why, and I'm still counting it. I started one of the sleeves. So I think if I just finished the body, I would have finished this, but I cast on for a sleeve. And so I'm still technically counting that I finished my goal, but on a technicality. So here's where I am. And the body is rolling up a little bit. I have the body on hold for a moment because I'm still figuring out where I want to start the body ribbing and kind of how long in general, what ratios I want. And in order to figure that out, I went ahead and cast it on sleeves so I could get a sense of how the sleeve pulls the body up, if at all. In my experience, waiting to cast on the sleeves means your body length is a little bit shifted. So you think you're finished and you actually end up with a little bit more crop than you anticipated. So here's where I am on the sleeve. I've gotten through 2 of the decreases and you can start to see that the ribbing on the side open up. I don't know if you can tell, but how I decided to keep that rib detail in the pattern. So it's starting to come together. And I think it looks really, really beautiful. And then I did find this one right here, this little marker. I found a stitch that I nearly dropped, so it's just hanging on by a couple threads. So I'm gonna get to that stitch and then repair that. But here's where I am. Start of day 4. I'm really tickled. I think I'm gonna get this sucker done this week. That might be ambitious and a little bit of a cocky attitude, which happens at the beginning of projects, for me anyway. So we'll see. But I'm getting more and more excited. And I'm thrilled for the other yarn to be coming in too. Like, the prospect of having 2 finished objects in a month to wear with me to my very first yarn festival is like tickling me so much. So I'm gonna knit for a little bit and then I'm gonna get on with my day. I've got some training scheduled. So I've got an indoor cycling training session. I've got a lifting session scheduled. I've got some work to do, but my work schedule's kind of light this week. So I think I'll have a lot more knitting time even this week. So that's also where some of the cockiness is coming from. So we'll call that confidence. Confidence, yeah. Because I actually probably have the time to finish it this week. It's just a matter of staying focused. So we are day 5 of knitting. It's Tuesday. And this is where we're at. I got the decreases on both sleeves done. I am at the point where I'm going to split on the body and have officially finished another skein, plus quite a bit of these two. So here's where we are. I'm gonna add probably 2 or 3 inches of stockinette here and then start the rib for the sleeves. And I'm planning for about 8 inches of ribbing, I think, on the body. We'll see how it goes. Oh, and the yarn I ordered for the first project I planned for this video is out for delivery right now. We are forecasted to get like 8 to 10 inches of snow today, and it'll start I think around 10 a.m. starting pretty soon actually, which is quite a bit of snow for us Oklahomans. So we'll see if we actually get that much, but if we do, I'm really curious whether or not that yarn will arrive today or need to go back to the post office for a couple days, but fingers crossed. Postal workers are a whole other, like, they get it done, so we'll see. But our mail does get delivered later in the day. We'll see. There's a reason that the ribbing doesn't continue down the body in this pattern, and that's because the ribbing doesn't line up and just flow right into the bottom ribbing like it does at the neck, the way it's written. So for now, I'm going to focus on the sleeves. I'm 99% sure I know how to fix the stitch pattern to where it will line up, but I'm gonna take some time to draw that out and do the math on paper so I can make sure that that math is mathing before I either rip it out and start over on the body or start on the ribbing and like try and figure it out in the ribbing. So I'll do it on paper first and then see if it's actually going to work. But for now, it's sleeves and we'll get those done today for sure, for sure, for sure. What a day. It feels like a time warp of a day. So it's been snowing nonstop since like 11, which is unusual for Tulsa. And as a result, a lot of my sessions were canceled. So I really found myself with lots and lots and lots of knit time. So I've been head down, knitting, like earbuds, audiobook in, knitting away. And I have finished a few more skeins. I'm going to show you where we're at right now. So this is where we are. The sleeves are even. I find that knitting both of the sleeves at the same time or like knitting a bit on one and then switching back and forth helps me just avoid sleeve island fiascos quite a bit. So I joined a skein to each sleeve and just finished that skein. So just have a tiny bit left to do, probably like 3 more inches of ribbing on the sleeves. But I have finished 6 skeins of yarn so far. I ordered 10 and we'll see how many it actually takes. But the other update is that the math appears to be mathing on the body ribbing so that I can maintain that ribbing detail along the side of the body. So I have done one side. I need to join another skein of yarn before I can make sure that it's gonna work, but the math seems to be mathing. So thankfully that means I don't have to like tear back at all, or I don't have to frog back, and I can maintain the rib detail that I'm really kind of smitten with. So I'm going to join another skein of yarn, go sit on the couch with my husband and my pups, watch some TV, and work on the body ribbing and see where we get. But she's coming along really fast. So the other thing is that despite the snow, the yarn I originally ordered for the original purpose of this entire project and video that got this whole thing started, that yarn was delivered. So it is stunning. I am so happy with the color. There's another skein somewhere that fell out, but this is that lime yellow color, and my God, is it gorgeous. I am beyond pleased with this color, and as quickly as this sweater is progressing, I am tickled to start on this soon. Like I might even be able to start it on the weekend, and we might actually have 2 finished objects for Nash Yarn Fest, which like makes me so excited. This has been incredibly fulfilling because it is knitting up so fast. Partly because of the worsted weight yarn and partly because I've had so much time available this week to really just sit and knit. So I'm pumped. Here we are. So I'm actually gonna frog all of this ribbing, and I'm not sure how much this is gonna grow, but I anticipate it growing a little bit. And I just want this line to be maybe 1.5 inches higher than it is, to where it falls just like a couple inches under the curve of my bust. That way, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I want just a little bit more ribbing, but I don't want the sweater to be a really long sweat. I want the split to be a little higher, which will give me a little more ribbing space. So I'm going to rip out probably 1.5 inches, 1 to 1.5 inches, and start the ribbing from there. So I ripped back all the ribbing and a little over 1 inch of the body, and I think I'm going to like the silhouette a little bit better. I want a more dramatic rib situation and more rib to stockinette ratio. And as I was progressing, it just was more even than I wanted it. So I'm looking forward to that. I got the rib pattern reestablished for the front, and so that will be my focus for tonight. I would like to finish the front ribbing tonight, and it's still pretty early enough that I think I can make that happen. But before I sit down and dial in on my ribbing, I'm feeling a little bit cooped up, and it is super bright and sunshiny outside, so I'm going to take advantage of the sun being out. It's really cold, it's like in the teens, but I'm gonna bundle up, get some sunshine on my face, get some fresh air in my lungs, tidy up my space a little bit because it's turning into a little bit of a chaos situation. And then I'm gonna sit down and dial in for knitting. Good morning. Good morning, good morning. Here we are. I am back done with the front rib panel, and I am so much happier with this ratio of stockinette to ribbing. So I was able to really make that a more dramatic kind of feature. But I am happy with this length, so I'm gonna go bind off the front panel. I think I might finish this today, which is super exciting. So all I have left is about 3 inches of rib on each sleeve, and then the back panel, which I intend on making even with the front. So, and it's still pretty early. It's only like 10 in the morning. So. Late afternoon, evening check-in. It's Thursday, which I think is day 7 of knitting. I started Friday, so I think that makes it 7. Here's where I am. I have finished the front rib and bound off. I have done, oh gosh, maybe a third of the ribbing on the back. I have extended the ribbing on one sleeve a little bit more, and I think that this is probably about where I'm going to stop, but I kept my knitting needles on so I could try it on and just confirm, because I haven't tried it on. And then this sleeve is still where it's at. So that's where we are. Progress is a little slower at this point, partly because we've gone from knitting in the round in straight stockinette to knitting back and forth in 2x2 rib, which is slower for me and my hands. But its progress is also a little bit slow because my hands are getting pretty tired. So I will probably knit a little bit more tonight. But I have no expectations in terms of how long I will knit, in terms of how far I will get. And I'm just going to listen to my hands, and they will tell me when they're done. I might also give myself a manicure and just care and tend to my hands, because they have been working really hard to churn out this beautiful sweater. And I think that might be a way that I can honor and nourish my hands to support me in finishing the sweater. I have fantastic news. We're done. It is a little bit after 2 p.m. on Friday, and I have just cast off the last little bit. We are done. I think all that I had left to do after last night's knitting session was about 26 rows of rib on the back and about 22 of rib on one sleeve. So here we are. Time to block and see how she transforms. She's done, she's blocked. I got a little bit more length through the arms, the ribbing opened up, and I am overjoyed with this sweater. I just got back from having coffee with friends and received compliments from several people, not just my friends, but people who are working at the cafe too. So I am thrilled. We are done. A week later, we are done. I have thoroughly enjoyed knitting this project. I'm already planning more in different colorways. I definitely want a light, warm milk chocolatey brown. And my mind is already repeat. Because I loved making this pattern. It was really fulfilling in terms of being able to get it done in a week. So I will post a video of my Nash Yarn Fest adventure wearing this sweater and take you along for that adventure, which I'm really excited for. It's happening just in 3 weeks. And then I'm going to potentially cast on for the sunshine sweater today. I've got a swatch ready to go that I need to measure, and I'm looking forward to doing that too. It will be a completely different project, but even knitting up the swatch was really enjoyable. The fiber feels really, really nice. The cotton merino feels really lovely. So stay tuned for that project as well. We'll see how far I can get on that before Nash Yarn Fest. But if you are still here and have been watching all along, I am tickled that you're here. I have had a blast with this project. I've had a blast editing through the video, and I hope that you also enjoyed watching me whip this EUN sweater up. And let me know in the comments if you have made this sweater. If so, what were your thoughts? What did you love about it? What was hard for you? Is this on your radar now as a project? And also tell me your color season. if you know your color season, like tell me what that is too. I'm thrilled that you're here. I'm thrilled that we're here, and look forward to connecting with you at the next go around.